Welcome back, everybody, to the next episode of AFL Timeline History. And we have made it to Season 7 of Madden 12. In Madden 11, we only made it through 3.5 seasons, and now here we are in the May time frame. May, June is when Season 7 went on. Very impressive magic that a league goes 7 seasons at this point. I think this exceeded our expectations.
Yeah, if we've got 7 seasons, this is in what? April, May,
Yeah, it
post
starts in
draft.
May, and I know it for sure ended in June, so it had to be April, May when it started.
Yeah, so we made it through 9 months out of the calendar year. That's greater than I was expecting. I was expecting to get through 12, but I didn't think that get through 12 meant, oh, it's summer and we're still playing.
Right, I think we all knew that this was going to be something that was going to continue into Madden 13, but I don't think any of us really anticipated that it would go much past February, March. But I think we started to realize now that the Madden season is as long as we want to make it. But as you can see by this playoff field, interest had started to fade out. We did have some computer teams. Ridge and I were getting creative, trying to keep it alive. I'm going to give you guys a little peek behind the curtain here. Ridge is no longer on Facebook. If you ever remember an owner named Mama Cry Wolf, that was actually Ridge's wife's Facebook account. Ridge created an owner called Mama Cry Wolf because he and I firmly believe that once you dipped below 28 users in a league, it just started a snowball effect of guys quitting the league. So we never wanted it to dip below 28. So we started having guys being like, hey, we're done. We're like, hey, just leave your spot there for as long as you can. And Ridge and I both created fake names, and we'd play these games and we'd play them competitively, and then we'd lose at the end on purpose. I remember I lost a game to drop, and I was messaging Ridge during the game saying, can I please just beat him? And he's like, no, we can't beat these guys. Just so little tricks we used to use back in the day to keep things active, because he was a firm believer that once you start getting in the mid-20s, interest is gonna fall off. But as you can see by this playoff field, a lot of computer teams made it. These were guys that probably got 11, 12 wins along the way and then lost interest. One of them was Stokes' Chiefs, which lost to Joker's Broncos, and Stokes' Joker ran it up on your Chiefs. I think he took out some serious NFC West frustration on your computer Broncos. And then he took out some serious frustration on my Patriots, blew my Patriots out of the water. Unfortunately, I was holding the controller for that one. So he moves on to the AFC title game and takes on Mustangs Bengals. And I'm imagining Magic's
Is
going
this
to
the
remember.
year?
This is the year
Yes.
Joker beats Mustang in the conference championship game to go to the Super Bowl to take on Ridge's 49ers. Ridge has now made it to 3 Super Bowls in a row. And Ridge takes on the Bears. Not Scott's Bears, but whose Bears, Magic?
Mustang.
Mustang lost both the AFC title game and the NFC title game on the same day. That will never, ever happen again in AFL history, and I feel like this wouldn't be a history show if we didn't explain the story. So, we mentioned before that Scott was a very interesting owner. Magic admitted on the show he didn't much care for Scott. I really like Scott. Stokes, you weren't on at that point, but I feel like you're more in my camp where you got along with Scott pretty well.
Yes, I like Scott. He seemed to be a cool guy.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. My one complaint about him was I wasn't sure how much of a fit he was for an online community where guys are going to... You have to have some thick skin in a situation like this because guys are going to poke and prod at you because there's no ramifications. You have the protection of being, behind a computer screen. And he would get his feelings hurt quite a bit. Well, at this
That's
point...
what I didn't like about him.
Exactly. And you have to know coming into it that that's not a good thing. And... At this point in time, 7 seasons in, Ridge was getting super frustrated with Scott. So we're leading up to a Scott's Bears versus Ridge's 49ers conference championship game. And Scott's going on, and I as I'm telling this story, I'm remembering what this all was about. So we had already started the process of ranking owners and collecting names, trying to get together lists for team selection for Madden 13. And we made the mistake of releasing the owners' rankings. Now, we didn't release all of them, but we came up with a contest for Owner of the Year. And we were going to announce it on the radio show, and we'll get into that on Madden 13. But the Owner of the Year...
Wasn't that Joker?
The owner of the year ended up being Joker, yes, but
That's what he's the reigning owner of the year from.
spoiler alert. Yeah. So what happened was, if I don't remember what the scale was, like if we did a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, all the 5 stars were like nominated for owner of the year. So we put a post on Facebook. Congratulations to Joker, Rilo, Stang. I don't remember all of them. But guys like that. I don't think SJR because he had a bad Madden 12. But the elite owners were up for owner of the year, and Scott's name wasn't included, and that's what led to him commenting that it was very disappointing that he wasn't up for it. And honestly, I thought Scott maybe should have been in consideration because he was a solid owner for Madden 12. But as Magic mentioned, he would delay setting up times or be like, "Yeah, I'll get back to you," and then not get back to you until like 1 a.m. And it's like, dude, it's been 8 hours. So that held him back a little bit, and it just led to him complaining about it. And he had his feelings hurt, which, he put in a lot of time, and I guess I understand that you put in a lot of time, you think you've done a good job, and then you're not considered an elite owner. And then Ridge just let him have it and argued with him, and he was, in typical Rich fashion, was probably like, "Look, bitch, if you think you're owner of the year, get the fuck out of here." Like, classic Ridge stuff. He and Scott got into it. Scott hits my private message, and, we're going back and forth. I'm trying, Ridge and I were classic good cop, bad cop. I was good cop, Ridge was bad cop. So I'm trying to calm him down. But I'm also, like, getting tired of the conversation. And Scott keeps threatening to quit AFL. Like, I could just see that this isn't for me. And then finally I was like, well, if it's not for you, then maybe you should leave. And Scott's like, fine, I will. And then he's like, but I'd like to play my championship game against Ridge. And I was trying to call his bluff at this point, thinking he was just being emotional. And I was trying to get him to be like, no, I don't want to leave. And I was like, well, if you're going to leave, just leave. So he's like, but I want to play my game. I'm like, no, if you're telling me you're going to leave, you're not going to play your game. So you're either going to stay and be back for next year, or you're just going to leave now. We'll find somebody else to play your game. And he left. So that's what led to Ridge playing the Computer Bears in the conference championship game, which led to Ridge saying, I don't want to go to the Super Bowl playing a computer person. So Mustang took over the Bears, and Ridge beat Mustang in the conference championship game, and Joker beat Mustang in the conference championship game. So that set up a Ridge-Joker Super Bowl, which was, unfortunately for Joker, the first of quite a few playoff heartbreaks. Joker's Broncos had a 7-point lead with, I think, about 2 minutes left to go in this game, driving down. Ridge was streaming this game for us. Joker had 4th and 1 on Ridge's goal line. And at this point in time, 2 minutes left, 7-point lead, Joker really just needs a field goal to put Ridge in a situation where he has to score twice and probably get an onside kick to win the game. But Joker elects to go for a quarterback sneak to try to put the game away, I guess, to get to 14. And Ridge stuffs it. So Ridge starts a drive from his own 1-yard line. Well, at this point in time, I don't remember what the circumstances was, but Joker had to pause the game for like 5 minutes. And so Ridge goes into his settings and starts setting a bunch of audibles. He goes on a 99-yard touchdown drive, scores as time expires. Stokes, you're going to love this. Instead of tying it up and going to overtime, goes for 2, calls a halfback dive, scores, and collects his second Super Bowl victory of Madden 12.
Big time. Go big or go home. I always support it.
And I wonder, Stokes, if it's easier for guys like you and Ridge to make that call when you've already won Super Bowls. Like, you'd already won an AFL Super Bowl. You probably already had other Madden 12 Super Bowls. Ridge already had 3 AFL Super Bowls. So if he didn't get that 2-point conversion, it would have sucked. But it's like, well, I've already won one this year. For someone like Joker who hadn't won one, I wonder if it's more difficult for them in that situation.
I could certainly see that. I think that if this was, my first attempt at it, or trying to get my first win, I think I would have a little bit more apprehension with, putting it all on the line, because then you end up second guessing yourself. But that's the biggest thing. If you're gonna do this, you got to stick with it, whether you get it right or whether you don't, because then the next time it happens, then you're second guessing yourself again, and if it blows up again, then you constantly have that personal battle, and I think you just have to stick with it. If you're going to play for the overtime, that's fine. But I just subscribe to the fact of just trying to win the game as soon as I can, and that involves not going to overtime.
Yeah, your plan doesn't have to work; it just has to be consistent.
I agree.
Go down your way. Well,
I only go down when she buys first.
kinky.
Gosh.
It's an adult show, right?
It is an adult show. Magic's
Yeah, we should
looking.
get some of those on here.
Magic's looking for his own personal face sitter. All right. Well, as you can see here, we had 3 computer teams in the playoffs, and most likely that means they played most of the season and faded away. Cheese's Redskins were now computer team. Wes's Jaguars computer team. Stokes's Chiefs were computer team. Dom had bailed out, and Bailey, who owned owned the Vikings at one point earlier in Madden 12 and then left, came back and took over the Falcons. And actually, an underrated thing about this season was made a name for himself as a Falcons owner late in the year when we were looking for owners, which put him in the conversation for a Madden 13 spot, and he actually got a Madden 13 spot, and the rest is history. He's been one of our core owners ever since. So maybe one of the big things to take from Madden 12 Season 7 is the fact that Bailey had a comeback and really impressed us. Magic won his first division in AFL history. His Lions, unfortunately, couldn't get over the playoff victory hump, lost to Scott's Bears before Scott was shown the exit door, and then Ridge and myself round out the other division winners, along with Shadow, who...
I remember that game. Ugh.
You against Scott, yeah, not good.
Yeah. Instead of a 2-point conversion, I threw the ball on like 3rd and something short.
Oof.
Good job.
Convert.
Good job, Magic.
Hey, go down your way.
Super Bowl 10 goes to Ridge. Ridge gets his 4th Super Bowl in AFL history. Joker loses a heartbreaker. And we are done with Madden 12. 7 seasons in, 10 seasons of AFL altogether. And we are turning the page, guys, to Madden 13. And coming up on the next show, we did something leading into Madden 13 that to this day is one of my favorite AFL moments. Timeline-wise, it happened just days after the Ridge Joker Super Bowl. To this day, it's still one of my favorite moments. I can't wait to tell you about it on the next show. And
Is there a hint?
there is no hint. You just
Do I know what this is?
The hint is click. I will tell you when we go off the air. And for the guys listening, I will tell you on the next show. We'll see you then.